What's going on, Jerome's? So even though the schedule is now 17 games, so it's kind of tough cutting it up into quarters. I mean, 16 was so easy, but 4 games left in the season, roughly just over 3/4 of the 2021 season is in the books. Take a look at the Vikings 2021 draft class and where they stand currently, because look at this class, man. This was a class that is going to be the bedrock of the future, and a couple of the guys have made a splash early, a couple of guys not so much, but I still have faith, so let's run through. Of course, at 23, down from 14, Christian Darisa, left tackle of the future, 6 starts this season, missed a couple games at the beginning of the year with a groin, and now missed a couple games currently with an ankle, but 14 pressures, 3 sacks allowed. He's been dynamite in the running game, just that size, speed, awareness, everything. Some growing pains, sure, but long term, I think that he is going to be your franchise left tackle. Him and Brian O'Neill, the 2 pillars of Hercules. I love it, man. And remember, the trade down from 14 to 23 with the Jets for Darisa as they moved up to take Elijah Vera-Tucker, that netted the Vikings an extra 2 third-round picks, 66 and 86, where they took Kellen Mond and Wyatt Davis no matter what. So Kellen Mond, QB3, Sean Mannion has been the QB2. He's been active. So he's seen 0 snaps, obviously. Now, the question will be, what will the new regime think? In all likelihood, it's going to be a new staff. It's going to be a new offensive-minded head coach in all likelihood, hopefully one time. And what do they think of Kellen Mond? They did not draft him. And remember, Mond is only a third-round pick, so that doesn't necessarily inhibit the Vikings from going quarterback first round, second round. So I think that Kellen Mond, even though we saw flashes in camp, we certainly saw flashes in the final preseason game against Kansas City. I don't know. Even though I believe in him. Also in the third round, 78 overall, Chaz Surratt coming out of North Carolina. Come on and raise up. He's played in 6 games so far, all on special teams, 70 total snaps, 0 tackles. And on the linebacker depth chart, he's firmly behind Blake Lynch and Troy Dye and even Ryan Connolly before he went on injured reserve. So I think that year 2 could be better for Chaz Surratt, especially if and when Anthony Barr leaves, especially if and when Nick Vigil potentially leaves. Remember, he only signed a 1-year deal. So could it be Kendricks, Lynch, and Chaz Surratt? Troy Dye has had opportunities. He's been sort of meh. So I think maybe next year Chaz Surratt could work his way into the starting lineup or at least get some more snaps. Also in the third round, 86 overall, Wyatt Davis, no matter what. He's been dinged up at various times throughout the season. He's only played in 5 games this year, 23 snaps, all on special teams. And even though the Vikings have had we'll say some issues at guard, they still haven't given the time of day to Wyatt Davis. Now, through Zimmer's comments, maybe it's something to do with practice. We talk about practice, man, but I think that the true talent of Wyatt Davis will shine going forward. And rounding out the third round, remember the Vikings had 4 third-round picks, which is insane. But Patrick Jones, the second coming out of Pitt, 55 total snaps over 6 games, 4 tackles. He's looked good in spurts when he's been on the field, and the Vikings obviously have had some depth issues at edge rusher. I think that he could be a mainstay of this unit for many years to come. Into the 4th round, so yeah, 4th round is sexy, man. 119 overall, Kene and Wongu coming out of the Iowa State University. He's been the best rookie. And it's really easy to say that. 2 kick returns for touchdowns, 1 against the Ravens, 1 against the Niners. He's averaging 39.5 yards per kick return, which, you know, if you bust 2, 99 plus or 90 plus, that's pretty easy. Get this man some running back snaps. It could be in line for some work with Alexander Madison out with COVID. So we'll see. Dalvin and Nwangu. Come on, man. 125 overall, the second most impactful rookie of the class, safety Cameron Bynum, the former cornerback from Cal. He's made a splash. He had 2 starts filling in for Harrison Smith, 17 total tackles, had a pick, as well as a 47.1 quarterback rating when thrown at. He's had some injury issues. The Vikings were potentially using him in a 3-safety look once Harrison got back off of COVID, but I think that next year, Xavier Woods probably won't be retained, so Cameron Bynum and Harrison Smith, love it. Also rounding out the 4th round, edge rusher Janarius Robinson. He went on IR early on in preseason, so yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see him. And I am very bullish on his future. I think if Andre Patterson does stay here, give Janarius Robinson and Patrick Jones 2-3 years under Patterson's tutelage, and I think that you're just going to have some carnivorous meat-eating edge rushers that just get after it, man. Pair of fifth-round picks, 157, wide receiver Amir Smith-Marsette coming out of Iowa. Only 18 offensive snaps. He's had 1 catch for 6 yards. Also played a little bit of special teams, but massive opportunity. Adam Thielen still dealing with that ankle injury. Also, Dan Chisena as well as D.D. Westbrook went on the reserve COVID-19. And Zimmer even called ISM out by name. He's like, he's a guy who has to step up. Potentially, he's going to be in the punt return spot as well. Yeah, kick return. Yeah, that's taken. That's spoken for by King Kene. Also in the 5th round, tight end / punter Zach Davidson coming out of Central Missouri. One of the more disappointing rookies, just never really found his spot in camp or in preseason, was firmly behind Brandon Dillon, the Marion Barbarian. So even with Irv Smith Jr. going down, Davidson on practice squad hasn't really done much this year. And then also in the 6th round, Jalen Twyman rounding out the class coming out of Pitt. Remember, he was shot in the offseason and put on the non-football injury list. But I think that next year, the kid has too much heart. He's got too much hustle. I think that he is going to come in, be that quick penetrating 3-tech that the Vikings defense sorely needs. So yeah, he's going to be that dude. Vikings UDFAs that have hung around the sphere. So Blake Proehl, the wide receiver out of East Carolina, showed some flashes, man. He looked good in training camp before he unfortunately went down with that ACL. He's been shelved. Look forward to seeing him next year. Nose tackle Jordan Scott out of Oregon. Now, I like him. I liked his tape from Oregon. I like what he did to a degree in camp. He's been placed on injured reserve. We'll see him next year. Vikings do have an embarrassment of riches on the defensive interior, which you like to see. Then you got Tuff Borland, the linebacker out of the Ohio State University. Not fast, not strong, not a physical freak, but a good leader, a tackling machine, takes good angles, etc. And he's a guy that eventually could rise up and be a solid special teams contributor. Now, he has a tough road to hoe with Blake Lynch and Chaz Surratt and Troy Dye and Ryan Connolly ahead of him. He was active in the game against the Steelers, so we'll see. We'll see what Tuff does long term. Myron Mitchell coming out of UAB. I did a little something in preseason. And is currently on the practice squad. And then running back A.J. Rose. Speaking of doing something in preseason, A.J. Rose, the superstar of preseason, coming out of Kentucky. He would have had a shot at running back 3, potential practice squad elevation due to Madison being out, but he's also on the COVID list. That's why the Vikings claimed Wayne Gallman from the Falcons. But that's it. Let's take a look at the Vikings 2021 draft class, as well as a couple of UDFAs, where they currently stand 3/4 of the way through their first season. What are your thoughts on our thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.